Hello, Facebook universe. Shane Bond here, Bond Street Mortgage. I just wanted to run through something we've been seeing a lot lately, and that's people that are searching for homes online and seeing their estimated mortgage payment, and kind of take a look and use a tool that we have here internally, our mobile app, as well as online calculator that actually gives you a real number. The problem is a lot of times those numbers on the website are only showing you principal and interest payments. So they're not actually taking into consideration things like taxes, homeowners insurance, and mortgage insurance if you're putting less than 20% down. So I just want to pop in, share my screen here and take a look at one of a listing from one of our friends over here at the Chop Russo team. And this is their listing here in Oakland. It's on the market for $400,000, and what I get here is my estimated mortgage payment of $1,934. So what happens is a lot of people are starting out their home search, and the first place they go is to these online resources, and they're looking at properties, and they're kind of coming up with, in their own mind, how much of a home they can afford, right? Before they talk to a mortgage professional or anything like that, they're using these numbers to calculate. So all the time I talk to people and they're like, oh yeah, I'm looking, around, 400,000, it looks like my payment should be around, $1,900 a month. And, I pay $2,000 in rent right now. So I'm comfortable buying a $400,000 house. And the reality is that isn't a real figure on how much that's going to cost. So what we do have is bondstreetmortgage.com/mobile app. We have an online application that you can pop on the phone, or what you can do is go on here, and what I'm using here is the web version of it. But this is going to give me a more accurate idea of what that home is actually going to cost me on a monthly basis. So, it doesn't take the place of speaking with a professional. When you're ready to actually, pull the trigger and want to discuss some real numbers, definitely reach out to us, and we'll hook you up with one of our professionals here that'll give you an exact number, or more exact number on what that is actually going to cost based on, things like your credit score and your debt and things like that. But this is going to give you a more accurate number. So let's start with what's going to cost you the cheapest on a monthly basis, which is saying you're going to put 20% down. So on this particular home, $400,000 purchase price, I have that in there. 20% down is going to take me $80,000 that I'm going to be putting down on this property. I'm using an interest rate of 4.5%. Fortunately, rates are a little high right now, or higher than they have been. So that 4.5 number is going to be my interest rate that I'm using now. So that gives me my payment, right? $1,688. I feel good. I feel happy. But you'll notice that I have no amount in here. This is only calculating in with homeowners insurance, which I have calculated down here at $800 a month. It may actually be a little more or a little less than that, but it's a good roundabout figure. But the thing that's going to really make my payment jump here is I am not including my taxes in here. The same as this payment here is not including the property taxes. So when I go down and I see, what the property taxes are on this property, they're a little over $9,000. When I plug that number in here, that's really going to make my payment jump up quite a bit. So when I go from $1,700 to now that's costing me over $2,400, that's a more accurate payment on what that's going to cost me if I'm putting 20% down. So that person that feels like, oh yeah, it's going to cost me less than $2,000 a month, and I pay $2,000 a month in rent right now. That's actually not true. It's going to cost you more than $2,000 a month, and that's putting 20% down. Now, if I mess around here a little bit and say I'm going to put 10% down, right? That's going to adjust my payment a little more. That's going to bring my monthly payment up, because anytime that I do put less than 20% down, I do have to pay mortgage insurance. So you can see there that number popped up to $132, and that's just an estimate, but it's a fair estimate based on the purchase price of this home and that down payment. So it's a different scenario. Now I'm up to $2,700 a month, and that's putting 10% down. Now, a lot of home buyers, especially in that $400,000 range, we get a lot of first-time home buyers. So a lot of these first-time home buyers are using FHA loans or lower down payment options, right? So, either, maybe I go for, 3% down conventional. Well, look, that jumps my payment up to 3144 as my estimate. Now, the thing is with if I go FHA, my interest rate will be a little bit lower, and I will have those lower down payment. And there are assistance programs and things like that really you need to speak to a professional on a case-by-case scenario. But to give you a ballpark idea, if we go into the FHA loan here, 3.5% down on that 400,000, my rate is a little bit lower. I'm using 4.25 here. So same thing, I am not including my taxes in this payment. So that puts me at 2,200. When I jot in those taxes of just over $9,000, right, that brings my payment up to closer to $3,000, over $3,000 actually per month. And, this is using an FHA loan. My interest rate will be a little bit lower, but my mortgage insurance payment will be a little bit higher. That's, the FHA's insurance, because you're putting a lower down payment, the mortgage insurance kind of covers you in the place of a default, or covers the bank essentially. So what we're going from here is like, this is a more average type scenario, right? First time home buyer, $400,000, 3.5% down at an interest rate of 4.25. Now my payment is going from the estimated mortgage payment here of $1,934 a month, saying, yeah, great, I can afford that, no big deal, no problem, to now jumping up to over $3,000. So that's a big jump. And these are things to kind of keep in mind. I like the mortgage calculator here and the mobile app on the phone to kind of gauge these numbers and give you an idea of how much this is really going to cost, right? Because maybe I thought that I'd be looking around that $400,000 purchase price, but maybe I'm not comfortable paying that $3,000 a month. So if I'm using this to kind of calculate and work backwards into what I'm comfortable as, same way as when we talk to people, I'm kind of starting with the number that you're comfortable paying on a monthly basis, and then we're going to back into what your purchase price should be. Just because you're approved to spend $400,000 on a house doesn't mean you should, if you're not comfortable making that payment. So, this is a good resource to kind of bring that down. Now, maybe if I'm looking at, closer to $2,000 a month payment, this will let me slide that slider down. Maybe I'm closer to, $275,000 purchase price, and that's okay. But I should be, that's kind of more in line with what I'm looking to spend if I want to be around that $2,000 a month. So of course, this doesn't take the place of, speaking with a mortgage professional or anything like that. It just does give you a better idea of where you stand. Or maybe, I want to play with the numbers a little bit. Maybe I, was planning on putting 3.5% down, but I'm going to wait another year or another 6 months till I can save up a little bit more for a down payment, and I can, hit those conventional numbers, maybe put that 5% down. That bring my payment down a little bit, and then, kind of work those numbers around that way. So this is a great tool, we offer out here. When you throw that in there, I can hit to see the details of that loan. That'll give me, my payment structure, how much it'll cost me over the series of the loan. It'll break it down to mean a monthly payment. I could check out my amortization to see, where that payment's going to most likely go over the course of the loan. I said all these are just resources that we offer out to consumers, to kind of give you a better idea of what that payment is going to be. Education is number one on our list of, educating people on the process and how much things are going to cost, so that everyone's just comfortable. You don't want to, close on your house and, feel all fine and good, and then all of a sudden you have a payment that you can't afford or aren't comfortable paying. So any questions, shoot them in the comments, shoot us a message, reach out. There is a link in the description here to this page for the mobile app. BondStreetMortgage.com/mobile app will bring you to either the link to download our mobile app on Android or iPhone. That's a native app on the phone, or you can use this web-based one the same way, using that same link and kind of mess around. But I do recommend, if you are browsing properties online, do not take this number too seriously, and definitely take a look on what it actually will cost you. So again, Shane, Bond Street Mortgage, anything we can do to help you, give us a shout, bondstreetmortgage.com. Hope to hear from you guys soon.